Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another autocross car build. My vehicle today is the Datsun 510. Quite a lot of people want to see me have a go with this car. I'm kind of curious to see how it'll do. I suspect it could be pretty damn fast, provided we have the rear end grip. I do have slight concerns about this thing being perhaps a tad slidey. I reckon this thing could be pretty fast. The Datsun 2000 currently sits in third. This is like to be a similar thing. Small, lightweight, probably get some decent power in it. This could be a pretty good car for autocross. Now, there are quite a lot of choices for engines that we may choose to use. I'm not going to do that first, though. I'm going to go through and put all of the handling parts on, because I'm not quite sure what PI we're going to end up with for the engines. So we will stick all of the handling parts on the car. First, we will get some nice race tyres. My concern with this vehicle is that the tyre widths are not the greatest, if I remember correctly. 225s on the front, and we are going to get 245s on the rear. Now, this being such a small light car means it's less of a problem, and of course, being A-class and being mostly handling built these cars, we don't quite have the same ludicrous power for the vehicles to try and deal with. But when it's going up against the likes of Ferraris that had three 5.5s or 3.45s on the rear of the Ferrari last time, we may have some oversteery issues potentially with this car. We will get some nice race brakes and race suspension, and just generally chuck on all of the handling parts that I possibly can. If we go, there we go. We are going to put the anti-roll bars on the car. We may well see this car well under £2,000. I'm hoping it'll be under £2,000. So the roll cage adds about 100, and then this should take off a few hundred. I'm hoping. There we go. Down to £1,932 for the Datsun. We'll come back to the likes of gearbox and so on after we have decided on the engine. Now, the standard engine I'm pretty sure isn't going to be powerful enough. I don't think you can get enough power in it to get it to A-class anyway. These are our choices. We have got the 2-litre i4 that is very light, actually. That's quite tempting. The 2.6-litre i6 that's not as light. The 5.7-litre V8 or the 3.7-litre V6. Ooh, the choices. What do we go for? I'm kind of tempted by the i4. I'll be honest. The i6 is the heaviest. It is, but of course it's twin turbo, so yeah, they'll add the weight on a little bit. I'm thinking we might go for a stupidly light Datsun build. I think that might be a good plan for this particular one. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for try and make this thing as absolutely light as we possibly can. What do we have aspiration-wise? I could say I might not bother. Naturally, aspirated cars have been doing pretty well. I don't think we're going to need to. We're certainly not going to need to get the required power. We'll get this into A-class. No trouble. We might leave the driveline, come back to it later. Ooh, bloody hell! The gearbox really. Gearbox really adds the PI points on this one here, and I'm guessing, yeah, so will the clutch. Sure, we will go for these parts though. Right, to the engine. Now, can we get you? What are we looking at? Yeah, we'll get it under 1,800. I reckon by the time we've finished building this car, which is pretty good going for the Datsun. It's not quite going to be as light as some of the vehicles that have gone, but still not bad going whatsoever. There we go. Hey, we're under the £1,800 mark, and we are almost at 300 horsepower from the now are over 300 horsepower from the Datsun. What else can we get in here? That'll keep it within the So this is what I say about the Ferrari being quite underpowered. So the Datsun is £1,000 lighter, and we are already almost at the same power as the Ferrari. We're going to be slightly less power than the Ferrari, but it's 370 horsepower in this and £1,000 lighter. That's why the Ferrari perhaps struggled a little bit. Let me guess, this is going to be a real pain in the ass, because I bet I'm going to put that on there, and then we're going to go over here, going to put that on. He's going to do that. Screw you. Oh, then that's not going to work either. Oh, I loathe it when cars do this. It is the most, one of the most annoying things. Although we might have one thing to get away. We do have one thing to get around it. We can save another £5 here. Yeah, with the with the flywheel, sometimes jumping cars up by 2 PI is incredibly annoying. Trying to get it to work, but we will take off the rear bumper. That'll save us the weight we need. And we will be good to go with 370, near enough 370 horsepower. We are a little bit down on torque though, at 259. However, we are incredibly light. I'm still suspecting that this Datsun could be pretty damn fast. They're pretty decent figures on this car. It's all going to come down to just how controllable is it. So here we are at the Hockenheim circuit, ready for my 3 attempts through the autocross course. Our current leader and target time was set by a Volkswagen Beetle with a 205.6, which is proving to be a very, very tough time to beat. The Datsun might stand a chance. The Datsun 2000 is a 206.8 around here, so certainly, yeah, this stands a chance of going perhaps top 3 if it's controllable enough. And I'm really, really hoping that that the Datsun will be controllable enough. But let's find out. Please back end behave yourself as we go through here. Oh, that's quite some understeer. Okay, that's not what I was expecting from it at all. I think that perhaps the acceleration might have caught me out as we got off the line there. I did not expect it to have that much issues trying to get turned through that corner. Let's just give it a little bit of a careful through there on this opening run. Oh, okay, so brakes are funky. Brakes are very, very peculiar on this. It did not like me trying to get stopped down there either. Okay, this is not got the handling problems that I was kind of expecting the Datsun to have. It is not particularly happy at the moment, though. There we go, that's a little bit better. Through that one. Yeah, it's definitely not as easy to drive as the Ferrari, but it is incredibly fast down here at, was that 118 miles an hour, I think, before we had to jump on the brakes to try and slow the car down. Very, very easy to lock these brakes up. They are, yeah, a little bit on the peculiar side as we weave through the next gate, and then again trying to get it stopped. I was really expecting this to get stopped better, being such a light car. I was really thinking that this would slow down a bit better than it does, but that is not the case. We can get the back end sliding around through some of these gates, like through here. Yes. It probably can be taken flat out, but the back end is probably not going to be too pleased if you do that. And then we're going to have to try and line it up through here, fire it down this section. It's not as oversteer as the RX-7 though, which is always nice. God, these brakes are not fun. The brakes are not behaving themselves. I don't know, it's a really very, very strange thing. Oh, and then the suspension's got really unhappy. We got it up on 3 wheels, and that's not what you not how you want a car to be driving. Oh, this is a weird, weird thing to to drive. That suspension was not happy whatsoever. Changing direction after the hairpin. It was, I don't know if it quite got the wheel off the ground, but it unloaded one of the wheels massively and tipped the car about. That is a mess, to put it politely. I don't know if I'm going to be able to drive this car. So, on to the second attempt for the Datsun. I'm got to find a way of dealing with the suspension, got to not upset the car, and the brakes are awful, basically. It's it doesn't really want to get stopped, so then you get tempted to try and go on the brakes more, and then you lock them up. So, yeah, that's a thing we're going to have to deal with. I really was expecting this to be a lot better at getting slowed down, but it's not particularly good at stopping. The acceleration is phenomenal in this car, that is for sure. Oh, that was really, really pushing my luck through there with the understeer that you can get going on in this car. Oh crap, we're not stopping or turning at all or doing anything correctly through that corner down there. Oh no, slow it down, fire it out of the gate, there we go. It's an interesting drive, this one, for sure. Yeah, none of the problems. The back end is actually pretty well behaved. I can slide it a little bit. It's very quick down there. I'm pretty sure that was almost 120 miles an hour before I got on the brakes. So incredibly quick car, this one. But it's just not particularly happy with being asked to go around an autocross course. That's the one place where we get the rear end sliding ever so slightly, and make sure we stop it through there. And then again, yeah, it doesn't actually spin. Like, I can be quite aggressive with the throttle through the acceleration bits like here. It's not spinning the wheels up even in first. I mean, around there it is going to slide. So it's, you know, the RX-7 was a lot harder to drive. The RX-7 was a lot slidier than this one. It's just trying to make sure we... slowed it down too much through there. Wasn't carrying as much speed as I was expecting. That was a stupid mistake from me there. This is where we had all of the problems before with the suspension. I don't know what the car did last time that upset it so much through there. It's doing it again a little bit. So across these perhaps like camber changes that go on around here, maybe that's what's doing it with this suspension. I'm not 100% sure, because there's no ridiculous cambers or elevation changes and so on through any of these corners at Hockenheim. So don't know what caused it to get upset last time around. As we fire it towards the line, oh, it's quick. Considering that was 2 gates hit stupidly, that's a 10-second penalty for the Datsun. If I can get a clean run, it's going to be fast. It's the if part that's the problem. On to the final attempt for the Datsun, and I'm going to be honest, this is not a car that I am particularly enjoying. It's one of those very annoying cars that is, I suspect, very, very quick, but not very nice to, well, drive at all. If I can keep this all under control, I suspect it will set a very, very fast time around here, but that is a very, very big if, as the brakes don't really work. There is quite a lot of understeer, and the rear end isn't particularly planted either to go with it. It's just... it's not a nice car to drive. It really does not suit my driving style in any way, shape or form particularly, but that acceleration, the acceleration in this car is just immense, which means that even at an autocross course where it's so much about handling, this thing can still go really very, very quickly because it is so fast out of the gates and in between the gates and down here. There is a lot of speed available in the Datsun, but you've got to fight the car for control constantly. Fortunately, we haven't had any of the weirdness again with the car. I think it unloads a wheel. It's not quite lifting it up. I don't think it's got race suspension, so I don't think it can quite lift it up, but yeah, it unloads a wheel and then it gets all very unhappy when going around some of the corners, but managed to not do that again, which is good, and that is an easy way to have a silly spin. Wait to get on the power, there we go. Stick the power down now, a little bit of a slide. Can we get the, yes we can get through there without things going wrong. Now let's not clip this gate up here like a moron, as we did last time out. Slide it through there ever so slightly. You can see I'm pushing the car hard where it's starting to want to slide through there. Right, get it into the hairpin try. Get it through there quickly. Couldn't decide if I wanted to be in first or second through that section. Now again, we're getting the back end starting to want to come out as we come around these last gates. Can we make the most of the acceleration now as we do the run towards the line? It gets changed direction down here, not too bad. The understeer isn't too terrible through here. It's mainly the higher speed stuff. So yeah, changed direction pretty well through there. The run towards the line, 2:07.696. It's quick. It's a decent time, certainly, from the Datsun. It is such a bloody handful, though. Hey, we got a wheel spin. Let's see what we can win from from this one. Hey, we've got a McLaren P1. That'd be much nicer around here. Dear God, that Datsun is a handful. That's a real difficult car to drive around this course. Yeah, it doesn't stop, it doesn't turn very well, the back end can wheel around when you don't want it to. It has got a lot of acceleration. It's got an awful lot of acceleration. I mean, that time is not bad, not quite as fast as I thought it might go. It will put it into 11th place. It goes just behind the Holden Commodore. It goes quicker than the BAC Mono. I mean, it's only a tenth of a second down on that Holden. That Holden is an absolutely lovely car to drive. It's an incredible vehicle. to drive around here, and this Datsun that is barely controllable is only a tenth of a second down on the Holden. Yeah, not my kind of car at all. The acceleration in it is phenomenal. I have no doubt it could probably go slightly faster than that. There are a couple of times on that run where the back end decided to come out and play, and you fought the car. It's an awkward car. Very, very quick, but not very nice to drive. Not a pleasant experience for me anyway, driving this car around here. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.